Okay, now I should be live. What I'm doing differently this time is that I also have a recording on, but I'm using a new recorder. So I'm going to try to film this at the same time. So I'm gonna check the recorder at the same time and paint and do all the things. Okay, I'm gonna explain what's happening on screen. I'm just gonna need to choose a brush for this one. I think I'm gonna use the dark dry paint, because I don't have a specific idea for the colors. I just know what kind of brush I want to have. Actually, I'm gonna probably go with this one, blueberry. I think this might make more sense. I'm gonna use the blueberry one. I know that I have used this a few times already, but it's just a brush. People shouldn't think about it too much. So what this whole thing is I was thinking of different palettes one time, and I do this sort of stuff a lot, that I just open a canvas when I'm thinking about palettes, and then I make brush strokes, and then I color pick them, and then just try to see if I find something interesting. And I like this mess, so I'm going to repurpose it for a painting. I also have actual line art this time, but it's not like fine-tuned or anything, but it's something. Whoa. And my hope is that with these little assistance features, I will be able to get further in this live stream. What I'm really trying to accomplish here is to make material so that I can publish art challenge video, and it's not really a painting video, and I thought that it's going to be a waste if I don't also shoot this somehow. So at least there is this live stream. People want to see this like longer format thing, and I can't promise anything, but if this recording thing works with the recorder, I'm also going to publish it for the people who are members of this channel. But like I said, I've never used the recorder before for a painting video, so this is just me testing. And in case it doesn't work, we'll always have this live stream anyway. The recorder is something that I wouldn't recommend for beginner YouTubers. It's quite advanced video stuff. I have been watching the same technical tutorials like over 3 times, trying to understand what the technical specifications mean for my channel and what kind of settings I actually need to produce these videos. And I have to take into account the power usage, how much power it consumes, because that affects the heat level of all these different devices. And there is no AC adapter in this camera because it's 200 euros, so I haven't been able to afford it yet. So all of the shooting that I do on my camera is with batteries inside the camera, so the shooting time is limited by however long that battery can last. So there are all of these like multiple things that I need to consider, but obviously I'm not gonna learn everything by just looking at manufacturing company videos about how their devices work. I'm only going to learn these things by using them and figuring out what stuff doesn't work. Hey, Zoltan. Now I can actually see the members of this channel because I can see the paw prints in the chat. That's cool. About the memberships, there is also a possibility for me to make custom emojis for the members, but I have to get to that after I have done the art challenge video, because I promised that I will do this art challenge video this month. I don't know if I will be able to make it in time. I'm still going to try to do it to the best of my ability, but after that I will look into custom emojis. I think that would be fun. Is there any hard edge brush in Procreate? Yes, several, and there are tons of them that are free. Often people ask about the default process in Procreate, and I have nothing bad to say about the free brushes. They are great. I used them for a long time. I just made my own brushes to fit my own specific needs for painting, and honestly, it's just to get out of that whole brush palette, because I don't want to open it for any reason. Every time that you see me pressing this brush icon, it is to, for example, to get out of, for example, selection mode. I'm not pressing this button to select another brush, I'm just pressing the brush button to get out of, for example, a selection tool or transform tool. I'm gonna check the canvas information. 13 layers available. I think that already tells me everything that I need to know without even checking the resolution. Do you use airbrush? Never. Never. And I won't. I guess the closest to an airbrush is in my flat graphic style illustrations, when I use those spray type of brushes. They are for texture, never to blend brushstrokes. I see a lot of like this sort of zebra pattern in the recorder. I guess that's a bad thing, but it's 10-bit video, so I've noticed that when I record in 10-bit, there's really almost no limit to what I can do with the colors, and it's almost impossible to overexpose a 10-bit video. So if I get this stuff working, it's going to make shooting a lot easier, at least in edit, but the file management is still like a nightmare, because 10-bit video is like almost twice bigger in file size, especially in 4K. It's a lot. So whenever I edit my videos, it usually goes through these different rounds. That first I try to get everything into just like one package, because holding all the video material on my computer at the same time is impossible. So I need to kind of like crunch it down first. Dreamer is saying, this just in, all the snow in Finland has melted due to the heat output from Mikko's live stream. Yes. There's so much equipment that I can't even explain. Just like in that direction, hanging above me. Just like thousands and thousands of euros of stuff hanging in the air to make all of this happen. But it is warmer. I think it's +degrees now. It's very slippery. We were just out there walking with Vivi, and he really doesn't like the puddles. Are you using custom process or default? David is asking. This is my own Blueberry brush. I don't use multiple process for pretty much any single painting, except my graphic illustrations. I have my whole set that I use for that, because I have those thick line art lines that is already in my already released brush set. Then I have those spray paint textures. Those are their own brush. And then I have these two different blocking brushes for different sizes. And those are especially handy when I'm working on Procreate Pocket. I was just recently doing 2 different illustrations on Pocket. And the 2 different sizes are handy because the other one lets me block in composition, and the other one is better for making individual objects, because the whole style is very dependent on individual parts being editable with transform tools. Also, then I have my own custom pencils for those sort of like rough texture effects. Sometimes I also use those to sketch in the whole illustration, but that sketch is never used in the final thing. I use that brush because it produces quite kind of like rough, ugly sketches, so that forces me to focus on the composition and not think about if the drawing is looking good or not. Because if I just focus on making a pretty drawing, then the whole process is going to be slower, and it's not going to help me get to the end result, which doesn't involve line art anyway. So for me, that would be wasted work. I love these different hues of blues. I hope I can keep them so that I don't end up erasing all of this in the end. I had this vague idea of doing an orange each blow, but I don't know if it's going to work. It's gonna do a quick test. This is not going to stay in the image. Maybe. I'm gonna erase some of it so that I don't oversaturate all of the colors, so that I can still color pick these. But there's something that I like. That's enough for now. I'm gonna set that as multiply so I can see it better. And maybe lock it so I don't paint on it, because I'm, especially on these live streams where I feel like I need to paint like twice as fast as I normally do, I often mix up the layers because I'm just so in panic mode. "2019 says, I just found out about your channel yesterday." Wow, I just bumped my head on the camera. That is going to cause people nausea if I release this video later. Because the camera is hanging from this like one long beam, it's not really supported to anything else but one direction. So even if something slightly touches it, that causes it to swing around a lot. Obviously, I try to avoid it. I just noticed that I'm like watching off screen all the time because there's just one menu in the wrong place. Okay, that's better. And do you think you will ever stream on Twitch? Right now I'm just focusing on YouTube. I think if I was a Twitch streamer, that's its whole other system. It has taken me quite a long time to learn how to stream on YouTube to begin with, so right now I'm just focusing on this platform. Also, stuff on Twitch is so disposable. I think live streams on YouTube, they have longer shelf life, if that makes sense. And I don't make gaming content, so Twitch is kind of geared for that. And because that's the original reason why Twitch was built, it also affects the way the content is visible on the platform. So it's all like current videos. And honestly, even if Procreate has different updates, this channel doesn't really focus on Procreate features that much. It's more about painting. I just did this tutorial video on perspective too, and there's only like small section about Procreate, but mostly it's about how to use perspective. So I think it's better to just talk about art in a bigger scheme of things, because that information won't change no matter how applications change or get updated, or if you do painting on Photoshop, Ibis Paint Clip Studio Paint or whatever. Like that same information applies to all art. Richard Lawrence says, it's like spring here in England. Wish I could come to London again. I've been thinking about that a lot recently. All the art museums in London are so spectacular. Not just the art, but if you think about National Gallery, the whole building is so inspiring. I don't know if it's possible to take a tablet inside there, but it would be fun to do a painting while sitting inside National Gallery in one of those beautiful rooms. I'm kind of gonna need to cut the mousse on its own layer. Otherwise, we'll be here all week. Actually, I'm gonna do it with the selection. Also, thank you to 2019 for finding my channel. Always nice to hear. Kind of gives me hope that my channel is still growing a little bit. I'm going to focus on the outlines because I know I can feel everything quicker. A person who literally I cannot even understand what the letters in the name are. Is that VSREA? How do you pronounce that? Do you always have an idea when you're painting, or do you just approach every canvas with a clear head? Depends. For this one, I knew that I had like this scrap piece of colors that I wanted to recycle for this, and the line art I did yesterday when I was watching Finnish government announce another shutdown yesterday. It was actually pretty nice to just draw in front of the TV for once because I feel like I'm always here in this room because of the filming equipment. So even though I wasn't able to shoot that part of this process, I just enjoy painting sometimes so that I'm not being recorded. Because obviously when I'm in a situation like this where people are watching what I'm doing, it's hard not to think that like I don't want to make terrible mistakes when other people are watching. But I guess if you plan on doing live streaming of any kind, you are just gonna have to be okay with that stuff or not do it at all. If you have seen my previous live stream, you already know this, but the reason why I'm using this bright pink is just for visibility, because it's different to all the other colors in this piece, so that makes it easier for me to see what I'm doing right now. So what I'm basically doing is just a simple selection mask, and this is much more accurate than using the basic selection tools. It just has to be a closed shape, otherwise it won't work. Which cities would you recommend to visit in Finland? Well, Helsinki. Yeah, Helsinki. I guess most people want to come here during winter so they can see snow and go to Lapland. When it's not such a touristy season, I recommend going to Lapland during fall, because it's really beautiful during fall. But late fall, you can avoid the mosquitoes. If you go to Lapland during summer, you will be eaten alive. Somebody said greetings from California. I've never been there. I mean, in the south. I just remembered that isn't San Francisco part of California, because I've been there, but by California I somehow think of like the south of California. I might be saying like completely idiotic things right now, so I'm gonna shut my mouth. Okay, that was a lot, so I'm going to just eat and copy this for the other side. But I know that I used transform tools to get this in perspective, so I'm gonna need to do it for this part as well. As you can see, it's not a mirror image. This is one of the rare instances where I actually use an eraser when I'm doing a selection. Otherwise, I think eraser is worse option than just painting over what you have done, because otherwise you are losing texture. Whoa. Okay. Now that I have this whole pink thing, I'm gonna use this layer and use it as a selection. Then go to this layer and then copy. And then paste. So now it's more in tune with what I just did. And then I can just get rid of this, unless I want to use it for some weird reason. Maybe I do. Okay, and now I'm going to lock this layer so that I don't mess up what I just did. Let's check the chat. Sorry, usually in these live streams I try to get as much work done as possible in the beginning, otherwise if I'm completely undecided on everything, it's going to be really boring to watch if I just slog through it, so I do need to focus on those parts. Someone else is asking about the whole seeing the image in your head thing. I think I already covered that. Alexander Novchovska is saying, how did you manage with the feeling of constant failing in art during your studying process of art a long time ago? I still have like a constant feeling of failing before the painting is starting to look better. Right now, it might look like this whole painting is a mess, and I know it would be like easy to think that this is not working out because it's not looking good yet, but I try to remember that yet part in the sentence. I don't think a painting is ever kind of like failed. It's just not finished. So whenever a painting is not working out, I just remind myself, well, I haven't finished it yet, so I will need to keep working on it until it's done. With the coffee shop, because it took such a long time, there was a lot of that back and forth that I would feel like the painting should already look like something because I've been working on it for such a long time, but art doesn't owe you anything. This is probably like the key thing that I have learned over time. That just because you have worked on something for a long time or that you put a lot of effort into it, that doesn't guarantee success or that the painting should look better at that point. it will take as long as it needs to, and you will just have to be okay with this deal that you are going to be working there on the piece for as long as that piece needs, and every painting has different needs. Of course, this makes it really difficult for pricing commissions. You kind of have to price them on a time estimate. And then stick to a schedule. But generally, if you just keep working on the same painting, there is a way to fix everything. If a painting is not working, there's a reason why it's not working. And if there's a reason, it can be fixed. So it might sound like an oversimplification, but that's really all there is to it. Because once you have accepted this fact, then you know that you have control over it. And once you have the feeling that you have control over the success of your piece, then you have all the necessary tools to get to that end destination. It's kind of like in between those like fixed mindset and learning, growing mindset thing. You know, when kids are told that like you put a lot of effort into this, so you rose to the challenge and you were able to overcome these puzzles that you were given. Or if some kids are just told that they are talented and that's why they were able to solve the puzzles, they won't be able to solve harder puzzles later because they think that they are gifted. So this can be a curse. But if you have a mindset that you are able to grow in your skill set to overcome all kinds of challenges, then you will kind of like grow up as an artist to meet the challenge that the painting idea requires. You will become the artist that the painting requires you to become. And this is why art is so much fun when it's difficult. I mean, without this whole journey, just imagine how boring it would be to do the same pictures over and over again. No thanks. We have a new member, Simply Sugoi, now has a paw print. One thing that I wish I could do for my members is that I wish I could share brushes, like these like unique experimental brushes through the membership thing. So if anybody has any ideas how to do that, because YouTube doesn't give me tools to do it with their systems, I am pretty confident that they are going into that direction. I don't know how many of you saw, for example, the last letter from the boss of YouTube. So it seems like the memberships are a really big important factor in their future. But I think it would be cool to just like make this process that can be just like interesting to paint with and just share them. My other option is to just make a quick tutorial on how to make the process. But I know that everybody doesn't have the patience to make the process themselves, because it is quite technical and doesn't have the same sort of like creative intrigue as just painting. Dreamer saying, I tell my vocal students there is no I can't do it, there is only I can't do it yet. I think that's well said. There's one time when I like really seriously snapped during a concept art course for one of my students, because I think she was like putting the entire mood of the class down by just screaming that like I will never be able to paint like this. And then I just told her that like, no, you can't. You will never be able to paint like that if you keep saying that. And I honestly mean it. If you keep saying this sort of quality about yourself is true, it is true. It's not just a belief, but you will take that mindset of your own. Like if you defend this type of a weakness and use it as an excuse not to grow, then you get to keep that feature in yourself for the rest of time. And a person who keeps saying that out loud, it's seriously damaging them. So it was really bothering me, because I think it will also affect other people when you hear this sort of like a complainer amongst them say that like we are just not good enough, we will never be good enough, and so on. So if that sort of like mentality starts to spread, then it's not only harming them, it's also harming everybody around them. So these sort of negative attitudes can be really harmful to be around. Sultan is suggesting, Mikko, maybe upload the brush to some cloud storage and share a link in members only YouTube post. I think a post would be a good idea, because I was thinking that if I do it in a video, then every time when you see like on any type of YouTube channel, when people say that here's a link where you can download X thing, and then the link is broken, that is super frustrating. But if it's a post and I have it up for like a month, then it won't cause those sort of problems. I think that's a great idea. I will do that. I will do that. I didn't think about the posts. I was thinking about videos, but that's a way to do it. Thanks. Somebody said that I am new to your channel. Hey, Aditya. Welcome to the channel. One thing that I want to say about the numbers is that I used to be the kind of person who would just be like quiet when, for example, if I get more subscribers, but now I know that I really don't have any control over the visibility of my channel, so I am really excited about the growth of my channel, and I don't want to be just quiet about the fact that I am very slowly, it's still very far away, but I am constantly aware of like that 100k line, and I think about it all the time. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because like it's not just exciting to me, because I have nothing to do with how many subscribers this channel has. It's all about you and the community for like finding this channel. So I just want it to be exciting for everybody else as well. Because when I started this YouTube channel, I honestly like had no idea that like it would be even feasible at all. I was just was it last week? I was in this super cool Finnish YouTubers thing. It's really rare that Finnish YouTubers ever get to 100k, so it's not like it was something that was in my mind when I started. But it's not like out of the realm of possibility at this point. So it's exciting. I have no idea what's happening with like the main elements in this piece. I'm just basically enjoying the colors now, and that just has to be fine. I think these brush strokes are a bit too small and busy here. I think the size of these moves are like my level of chunkiness. They have really thick eyes. Maybe this is my spirit animal. No, I was just thinking about spirit animals yesterday, and definitely if I had a real spirit animal, it would be a bagel. Can we ask how many brushes you use in one painting? I usually use 2 to 4. I always use 1 in my paintings. But for my graphic illustrations, like I said before, that's a different thing. But for like all the paintings that you see on my channel, those are all done with 1 brush. I put that on a lower opacity so that I can retain some of that texture that I had in the background before. But I'm just gonna push it a bit back with those and add some trees. Oh, that's a thick tree. I want them to be like really thin and organic to contrast with the chunkiness of this mousse. Also, I want to remind everybody that we are, of course, on a timer because my boss is sleeping in the other room in her office. and when she wakes up, she will need attention and love and treats that I have in my pocket. I accidentally put the mouse in the shot of the video. Sorry about that. I think there's a 1 hour timer on this recorder. Oh, actually, I lost the OBS window. I'm such a mess with this. How many live streams have I done? And still, whenever I like watch other people's live streams, it seems so smooth. If you're wondering about what I'm doing, like for me the screen is also upside down, and it's for me to see shapes in more abstract way. By the way, about the art challenge, when I'm releasing the video, I'm going to be releasing it on my main channel for everybody at the same time, because the art challenge is really for everyone. I don't want it to be limited in any way. I'm really excited about it because I have been thinking about it for a really long time. I have asked the members of this community on Instagram about suggestions for it, and it's partly inspired by those. And what I'm most proud about is that this art challenge is not about me. So I hope that it can like help people, because that was my main intention. So that's why I'm excited about making it. And I hope when people are participating in the challenge that you can comment on each other's work, search the hashtag and find people who make art for it, and comment and share those. I mean, I love it when people comment and share my artwork, but imagine a person who has like less than 1,000 followers on Instagram. Like, it really means a lot to those people that their art is noticed. Amaya is asking, are you talking about Vivi? She's your boss. Yes, Vivi is my boss. She might not pay me anything. In fact, it's me who's buying all of her food and taking care of her, but she decides my whole schedule. When I'm able to paint, when I need to wake up, when I can go to sleep. She's my boss, for all intents and purposes. I love this color of blue. I know that I have tons and tons and tons of blue paintings, like the bee behind me. I think blue is an easy color for me. Purple used to be really difficult. One of the reasons why there are so many purple pieces in my gallery is because I've just been learning how to use it, really. And doing the whole analogous colors thing with purple as the main hue. I think that's the easiest way to learn a color. I think using an analogous colors palette kind of forces you to find like the deeper, different hues of that same color and learn how to work with their saturation and value level, because for each color the values are different. I was first thinking of like maybe making the 3 different layers of tree branches in values that get lighter as they recede into the background, but I think it's going to be more interesting and more vibrant looking if I just paint in like different hues like this and then just decide on the composition where those brush strokes should be. It's a bit more intuitive way of painting, but it's more fun. really think that I messed up with that one gradient there. Go back and see if I can untangle those to this one. Much better. It's kind of harder to go back during a live stream because sometimes you just work on an area of a painting and it doesn't work out, and then you need to do it again. So that makes it more stressful to know that people are watching, because what they just saw is the painting not progressing at all. But I'm actively trying not to think about it too much, otherwise this painting would just not be done, or I would not be able to make these live streams at all. I used to be one of those people who got really anxious when people were watching me paint, and I couldn't be painting at all when I knew that somebody's watching. If I would see myself 10 years ago and I was telling the old me that, like, Mikko, you're going to be doing tons of live streams of you painting in the future, and when you start you have no idea what you're going to be making, I would probably have just slapped myself. Oh, no. Richard is saying, it's amazing how well dogs can train you. Yeah. Much more efficient than I am at training dogs. Wow, that was a lot. Sorry, I just noticed that someone was spamming the entire channel, so I needed to put that in ice. I think I'm doing pretty well for speed. Usually at this part I'm just like panicking about the time, but I think this is fine. Famous last words. What inspires you? Miyaksi is saying. Lately I've been playing this really cool futuristic cyberpunk game that inspires me. It's called Cloudpunk. And I just love the world. It just feels really alive, and it's nice to fly around the city. It has really cool ambience. I think that's really inspiring. I don't know if I'm going to be making science fiction paintings, but it's inspiring. I think it's Polar Ice Cream Truck the Brush, Virginia Schroeder is saying. No, I think this was Blueberry. Yes, this is Blueberry. Polar's Ice Cream Truck, it has a bit more grit to it. Okay, I can't be spending this much time on this small part of the painting, so I just need to get some blocking in. I was focusing on the chat so much that it kind of got into my head and broke the flow completely. I could be responding to all of the comments if I was just staring at the chat and responding to every comment, but then this wouldn't be a painting stream. It would be Mikko drinks coffee and reads comments chat, and I think honestly for everybody that would be worse to watch. Hey Atticus, welcome. I'm still recording apparently. I think this is the first time that I have recorded 1 hour continuously, so the recorder is at least somewhat working. I thought it would cut at 1 hour. Thanks, Atticus. How many layers do you usually use? Completely depends on a painting. This is a question that is completely impossible to answer. Like so many that ask, for example, about what resolution I use. That's not the right question to ask. It depends on the painting. So for this painting, I'm going to be using the layers to separate the trees, the moose, and the background, because that's what this painting needs, and that's what is going to make this painting faster to make. If I had all the time in the world, I would not be using any layers, because I honestly think that would result in a more cohesive painterly look. think there's some sort of like bright color that is missing from here. Maybe like this. Mikko drinks coffee, people would still watch. I doubt that, James. I think these orange stones that I have here on this leg, they are going to come later when I, for example, do the editing and add that glow to the lower half of the image. But for that to be effective, I need to have like a darker tone beneath, otherwise it won't come together the same way. I like this track. Hello, is there a possibility to make some character designs in the future? I think you said that you were a game concept artist. Yes. You worked on environments only? No. No. On all kinds of stuff. Characters, weapons, vehicles. Right now I'm just going to be painting what I want to be painting. So that's it. So that's not a yes or a no, but no commitment either way. I like doing character designs. I think that's one of the reasons why I started making art in the first place, but I'm completely honest, making characters for video games, that wasn't fun, ever. And it's not something that I want to do again for video games. But for other purposes and for fun, yes, definitely yes. For games, I'm done when it comes to characters. A huge nose. It's kind of a huge nose. Ellie is asking, do you decide on a color palette beforehand or do you go with the flow? For this, I had that like scribble in the beginning, and that scribble had interesting colors, so I wanted to recycle those. Juliaras is saying probably you did not like it because you were creating something that other people want, and no, it's like a lot of politics goes into character design. Like so many things. I really don't wanna go into it. Sounds like there's a small dog wandering around the place. That dog. There's a hole in the front leg. Yeah, looks like there is. I will fix it when I unlock the layer later. I'm just trying to get all of like the main elements done. I think that's always my main goal with these live streams, because I know that I won't be able to doing all the color editing and stuff in one sitting. So I just want it to be as close to the finished like visual impact as possible. Vivi. It's so cute when she's sleepy. Kind of aimlessly wandering around. Now she's sleeping under this chair. Animtigi is asking a hard question. How do you manage doki time when you are really focusing into a painting? I don't. Please tell me how to do that. My time usage is completely a disaster sometimes. I feel like the entire yesterday just went into like trying to survive through the day. I was so sleepy and I thought that like several times that now I'm definitely going to have a nap, and then my boss would wake up and require playtime or leaving outdoors to do something like a walk or something, and that was the entire day. I went to bed at 9 p.m. and I just immediately fell asleep. By the way, I get up every day at 5. So. Usually I get most painting done before lunchtime, because that's usually when Vivi has her longest nap. But I guess she needs to go outside soon, so I'm gonna get that like orange glow in the bottom half of the image, because I think it's really important for the visual impact. And if I finish this painting, everybody's going to think that it's completely different later. I'm gonna do that additive glow. There's somebody in the other buildings or using the elevators that's causing her to bark. I will shut down the microphone if she continues until she quits. Sorry. I hope you understand that it doesn't help if I immediately interrupt her barking. That will just tell her that she will immediately get my attention if I intervene. So sometimes I just need to let her finish. because I scaled it up, that's why I'm adding a little bit noise. This is going to help with the banding. You don't have to add a lot. The entire screen went like a lot darker to me right now. I don't know why it does that sometimes. I guess it's adjusting to daylight or something. It's never helpful and it never happens when I need it, which is never. I'm gonna put that as a lighter layer. Just erase this one completely. Kamisama Chai is saying, hello from Zambia. What are your stylistic influences, if any? Well, when I was younger, I used to hate this. I thought that I hated this big print of Monet that my mother had, but I think Monet has had a huge impact on my entire style, colors, and I guess even subject matters in art. And of course, all the late 90s video games and relationships. I guess when people ask that question, they think that mostly what other artists have influenced me. Yeah, I think it is the night shift, like James is saying. I need to try and disable it. Especially when I'm like, I was shooting, and I'm still shooting this with my camera. So you are going to see that shift there. I will try to edit it out. I will be able to spot it to the best of my abilities. There is a limit how much you can do with color correction, but small changes are fixable. Maria is asking, are you a self-taught or did you went to academy or something? I went to an art school for 3 years to learn how to paint with oil colors. We were painting with oil colors for the entire duration of the school. But painting is painting. That's why I always say that this isn't like a Procreate specific channel. Even the tutorials that I do, they aren't really Procreate specific. Like, the same rules of art apply to whatever you do. I've noticed that most people think that the whole art learning process for digital art, that they assume that, for example, when I say that I've been teaching these digital painting courses, that I think most people just think in their heads that I am teaching about how to use brushes or selections or adjustment layers in Photoshop or so on. But that's like 0% of that course. It's all about just how to make an image, how to tell a story through a picture and composition, and it's like mostly composition, and it has like nothing to do with the tools because they're such a small part of the entire thing. If you don't know how a selection tool works, like just press F1 on a computer and you will be immediately taken to help page that explains it, but it won't make you a better painter at all. But when it comes to technical stuff, like it's mostly just being able to change the brush size, change the opacity, even though mostly I use full opacity with my brushes, and then choose a color. That's the technical stuff. Like the layers, blend modes, they're such a small addition to all that. Okay, that's one horn. That took way too long for what it's worth. Okay, I'll get back to that later. The ear. I alpha locked an empty layer. I'm an idiot. Okay. Joel is saying, or I don't know how you say your name if you're Swedish. Joel? Greetings from Sweden. I just bought your brushes for painters. I am very pleased with them. They do exactly what I missed from the basic brushes. Yes, this is exactly why it took me 3 years to make this brush set. And I swear to God, I got so many requests about where the hell is your brush set. You said you're releasing them, but I just thought that, like, as long as I keep making these edits, when I'm painting they are not ready, so I don't know. I felt like at the time that it's a really bad decision, but I'm really glad the way that these are, because I don't need to keep making edits to my process when I'm painting, and that's the point. Really happy that you are pleased with them. For the purposes of this live stream, because the antlers are so finicky, I think I'm gonna just leave the other side now and focus on getting like the rest of like the visual impact done, because it already gives me enough information about what to do with the other one. But they're not symmetrical, so they need to be painted by hand. I want the forest to be kind of blend into the background in an impressionistic way, so that it's kind of impossible to tell which brushstrokes are part of the sky and where the forest begins. Because this brush is so has such a hard edge, I'm going to need to do that blending by just picking the right colors. Luckily there are already so many transitions in this painting that it's really easy to just like keep color picking constantly, even though I'm at 100% opacity. I think the great thing about full opacity brushstrokes is that it makes you make real decisions about the painting. Otherwise it's kind of easy to just like blend everything in. And if you don't have any hard edges, it's kind of hard to design a painting at all. And it's kind of easy to convince yourself that the brushstrokes are in the right place when they are so soft that you can't see them. I guess that's also why I don't use airbrushing techniques. I'm looking for darker color. I'm just not randomly browsing through this. Okay, this darker color. I think there needs to be more contrast in this region for the leg part to read properly. Baby keeps glancing me from the other room. It's almost like she's saying to me that, are you aware of the time? We need to be going out soon. Mikko, do you sell digital downloads of your art for home printing? Richard is saying. I have imprint shop. That's in the description. I don't sell the digital files because I've had few times these situations where I've noticed that a shop is selling my print and they don't even have the access to the high resolution version of it. So like to prevent these scams from happening, I don't know if I should like provide access to those digital files. For what it's worth, I think Imprint does really good quality prints. Louise Davy is saying hello from a new fan in the UK. Love your work. Thank you. I think Vivi's name was Louisa when she was born. The owner has this, not the owner, but the owner of Vivi's mom has this principle that all the puppies are named English names because they are corgis, Welsh Cardigan corgis. It's only now that I realize my mistake with this live stream, that I opened the YouTube window in the same screen that I have the OBS Studio, and I should have resized them in a way that I can see both at the same time without having one or the other active. You live and you learn. Miaxi is asking, do you use any program besides Procreate? Photoshop. I do color editing, especially for my prints. mostly in Photoshop. Not that I need it, but just because I happen to have the subscription to Creative Cloud to keep this channel going, that allows me the access to Audition, and that is the reason why I have Creative Cloud. So I could have chosen the route of going with DaVinci Resolve, which is a great editing program and it's free, but I don't think it allows for 4K editing for free. But that was an option for me. But then when I thought about the options, then I realized that there is no way that I would be able to make the same videos without the audio editing program. And audio editing is so outside of what I know that I have learned everything on Audition. And at that point, I just thought that I don't have energy or time at this point to learn another audio editing program to do all the same things. So I'm just going to keep subscribing to Creative Cloud to have access to that. And as a side result, I have Premiere and Photoshop. So I do all of my video editing in Premiere. And also it's kind of the same thing, that it's all the video editing programs are really complex. So I have learned so many things in Premiere that it would take a lot of time to do the same level of editing in any other program at this point, even if it would be technically possible. But Photoshop is kind of like just a nice bonus because it allows me to do the color editing in a much faster way. When I use Photoshop, I don't even have my tablet. I have 2 tablets. I don't use them. I use just my mouse to do the color editing, my paintings. So I do that part usually when I am uploading a new print to InPrint. Like for example, in a painting like this, these colors, if I was just to upload this to InPrint like this, you probably wouldn't be able to see these hues of blue without color editing. So I am lifting like these like almost black, really dark tones slightly up without brightening the entire image. So those are the type of edits that I do to a print before uploading it. And on the computer screen, it's just handy because I can see it on 2 different screens at once and see how the colors look on most screens. I think it's great if you can afford to have one of these like super expensive color corrected screens, but I guess this comes from my days of or years of game development, that even though producers were pushing these like super expensive screens to me, I said that like we can't decide on what type of screens the players will be playing these games on. So it's important to have nice screens, but it's also important to have a few screens that are a bit washed out, oversaturated, and so on. So if you have 2 screens that are quite different, and if the image looks okay on both, then it's probably a good painting. But it's never, the composition shouldn't be that fragile that if the colors are slightly too bright or dark, that it completely falls apart on either. If you think about something like, I don't know, a Mona Lisa painting, it's not really a terrible painting if you take a photograph of it with a cheap mobile phone or watch it on a bad screen. Like, it's still the same painting. Of course, the colors can look nicer in other formats, but it's the same painting. Sorry, I missed that. Which monitor did you say you have? What I'm looking at right now is BenQ, and then on the right I have an HP monitor. But the colors look a bit different on both. I think the HP monitor is a bit nicer, but it's more saturated, so I still need both. I'm not an expert at this, so I'm not gonna say that the BenQ is a worse monitor, but there's probably like a more scientific way to color correct it. Or just when you get one, maybe the factory settings are better than the ones that I have on this one. Those could be the reasons. I'm really not a tech person, so it's one of the reasons why, I don't know. That's what I didn't expect when I started to do videos for YouTube. It's just like how much tech stuff you have to learn just to do all of the technical stuff. It's crazy. And one thing that has surprised me is that how much energy I have to watch at all these tutorials and to try to understand what does it mean when you have legalized C-Log footage in comparison to non-legalized footage. Like past Mikko would not have had that sort of patience. But I really want these videos to be as good quality as possible. I was really happy with that audio quality in my previous video. If you look at my very first videos, please don't, but the audio quality is like just crap. It's just crap. But that might also be due to that massive wall-sized panel that I purchased. The print of Weatherbox. It's printed on an acoustic panel. The crazy thing is that it's taped to a wall. From this place that I bought it from, they have this tape, and when they ran out of material, they called me that like, we have run out of material that you ordered the acoustic panel for. Is it okay that we send you, I think it's 1 inch. I don't remember the centimeters. I think it's like 1 inch thicker material. And we print the image on that. And I of course said like yes, because it's more expensive and it's better sound dampening. So like, yeah, sure. But then I asked, but can I still use the same tape that I ordered to put it on the wall? And they said like, yeah, it's fine, but this is not a light panel. It's quite heavy to lift because it's a lot of material. It's like it's over 1 meter to each direction. I mean, if that was a box of that size, I could like easily live there for a few days. And it's taped to a wall. So when I put it up, the first few days I was just in like constant fear of like, when is it going to come crashing down on me, and especially on these cameras and microphones. I guess the tape is really strong. Do you think of your paintings as a story? Yes, always. Raven is asking. Yeah, always. I also feel really strongly that every painting should have a name. I think if I see a painting and it doesn't have a name, I don't think it's finished. Or if I see a painting from some other artist and it doesn't have a name, like I always feel really disappointed by that. To me, when I'm in an art gallery and if I look at the tag next to a painting and it says untitled, to me that says that the artist didn't care. So why should I? If they don't care enough to give it a name, then like, why would I spend more time watching this thing? Or that I'm somehow like walled off from the story of that painting. Sometimes a name can be really important. Sometimes a name can be completely silly. But I think it's important that the name exists. And that you tell your viewers what the name of the painting is. And especially for art students, I think this is a really important exercise to start doing as early as possible. Because what it will teach you in the long run is that like it's okay to communicate about your feelings through your paintings. Because you will have these moments when you feel like, is this name for this painting a bit too personal? Am I revealing something that is like too personal about me in this painting? And just getting over that fear again and again will kind of increase that muscle to a point where you have more creative courage to make more honest paintings, and you don't care about what other people think of you or for that honesty in your paintings. Because honestly, the way that you learn this is that they don't care at all. I've had some like painting names that I felt that flinch, that it's too personal. Or that some memory is too painful to paint about. But mostly people are just too busy thinking about themselves, so really shouldn't like limit your creativity based on such a non-existing hypothetical scenario where somebody feels uncomfortable because you shared something personal. For me, it hasn't happened before. The reason why I'm like holding onto this one dot is not because of any like fancy composition reason, but because I think that that orange color fits with these blue hues really well. So I wanna like just keep that as like a memory note for myself that I'm going to need that like orange hue later, because I'm going to use it for color editing, this like glow in the lower half of the image. But its dot is not going to stay there, but I noticed that it just fits, so I'm gonna keep it as a note to myself, or when I get to the editing phase. But it's starting to look like a painting in 2 hours already, so for that I'm happy, in case my boss wakes up and demands attention. By the way, she's now on the floor, on her back, with paws in the air. I have thousands, literally thousands of photos on my phone of my dog sleeping in different positions. I mean, nobody's ever going to need to see all of these images, and like they're mostly all the same image of my dog on the floor. But for whatever reason, when I see her like this, I always want to take photographs. The left channel cuts off in your microphone sometimes. Could it be that the USBs? This is going to cause a crackle, I'm sorry. It could be that one of the cords is like off. Somebody's asking about blending. I really don't use this tool for blending that much, except in some cloud areas. But in a painting like this, I wouldn't blend the clouds with the smudge tool. Lonakin is asking, would you ever consider doing vlogs? I think that was kind of like a vloggy video when I did that boat on the lake. But to be completely honest, I just don't have that much confidence in my video editing skills at this point yet. I know that some people might think that vlogs are the easiest videos to make, but I think it requires an extremely high level of skill to be able to just like gather all of the material of footage that you have done during the day and put that into a cohesive story in video format. I respect that skill immensely, and now I understand how difficult it is. That I have done it once, but there are so many times when I, for example, start shooting, even here in this room, and like doing a video, and then I just feel like this is going nowhere, and I might stop speaking, and then I completely lose the whole point that I was talking about, and then I get this like feelings of like, oh my god, why am I even making YouTube videos? I am terrible at this. And if I was making a vlog, I wouldn't be able to afford to have those sort of like complete mental breakdowns, which I do sometimes have. It's easy to forget while making a video that you can edit so much out of it, and the power that editing has over how the story is conveyed. But I think for YouTube content, I would like to develop that skill more, just because I think it would be interesting to have this sort of like experience in my videos that like I have an idea or an assumption of what kind of a painting I want to make, and then to show that in real time how that idea changes throughout the process. And I don't think I have much of that in my current videos, just because it's all edited after the fact. So that's the reason why I think it would be important to like develop those skills so that I can make those sort of videos, and I honestly think that they would be interesting to watch. But when I think about vloggy videos, I do think about like the process of making a painting and everything that goes with it, the things that inspire me, where I'm painting and so on. Not Mikko goes to a coffee shop and does nothing the entire day. That's not what I think about when I think about what my type of a vlog, type of video would look like. I do think that I just kind of got lucky with that lake video. But back then when I was making it, I also had so many unknowns that I didn't know how to use this camera and all the technical stuff. There's some urgent situation that some person is walking behind my door, and my boss is making sure that I know that this is happening. I'm gonna cut off the audio for a second. Okay, I threw some treats on the floor. Maybe that will distract her, maybe it doesn't. It honestly might be just time for me to quit the live stream altogether and get on with the whole dog spa portion of the day. I probably haven't said it before, but obviously I'm not going to use any of this line art in the final piece. It's just there to kind of tell me what to do. I think it already looks better now that I turned it off. Also, I can see it like the huge hole in one of the chunky thighs of this thing. Here. Oops. I'm gonna read a few comments now and just turn the mic off for a second. Okay, I saw some of the comments now. First of all, sorry for all the dogs. I understand that if you're watching a video and there are dog sounds coming from your speakers, that is very upsetting. Bibi, tule tänne. Tule. Bibi. No, she's too upset right now. Somebody's asking, do you read the chat? Obviously, when I'm painting, I can't be reading the chat at the same time, so I take breaks and then I read the chat. Somebody is suggesting the bloom tool. No, I recommend using either the screen or additive modes instead. You have way much more control. The bloom tool is like an algorithm that you'd have no control over. Like, forget that it exists. Sorry, Procreate. I don't think it's a useful tool. I'm gonna fix the hole in the leg. I was saying. Okay, do I have the microphone even on? Yes. For the glow on top, the top layer, I'm using the screen layer just because the add layer was reacting with the saturation of the colors below, but it just depends. Screen is usually kind of provides more washed out colors, so I use that with more saturated colors. But with the add color, I usually do like lamps or such, but like be very careful of the saturation when using that blend mode. I need to stop the stream and honestly just focus on providing care for my boss because she's now fully awake and requires attention. And I will be posting this in a quicker video when I do the art challenge video, and you can also see information about that on my Instagram channel. And I honestly hope that everybody joins this art challenge and that you support other people who do it as well and just have fun with that. I don't know if this video recording is going to work out because it's the first time that I'm using a video recorder. I still can't believe that it has apparently recorded 2.5 hours of video. This is unheard of for me because usually I have to do everything in 30-minute breaks just because for legal reasons they aren't allowed to tell anybody cameras like these that record video over 30 minutes because of tax reasons, which is insane, because technically the cameras can do much more. So if this works, I will be really happy, because I hate quitting every 30 minutes just to make sure that the camera works, because that always cuts my painting workflow. So when I'm doing painting videos from here on out, I will be able to do longer painting sessions, and that's obviously going to be more fun for me, and it's easier to keep the colors consistent because I don't need to color correct the way that sunlight looks on the table. So thank you for joining this stream, and I see you guys in the next video. Bye.